when you said take a break, we were all yelling at the young ones. Take a break means don't move. Get some water.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was trying to enforce like stop dancing, like leave my rest, because you're still
Save your energy.
All right.
Isn't it?
It's 3 hours. You need a
water in
break.
your stomach?
Yeah. Wait, what was that, Jackie?
I said you wrote that in your email too.
Yeah.
When I say take a break, I mean take a fucking break.
Yeah. If you watch if you watch my streams, I'm adamant about taking breaks.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
I work a lot, but it's because it's like the equivalent of
Take a break.
Of
You can go and see our father.
Also, California work laws require us to take a break.
Am right.
Okay.
I need to take a break from Cyberpunk.
So, yeah, but the philosophy of it is like it's similar to working out. How many times are you gonna do reps until you need to rest?
Yeah, you need recovery time.
At one point, does it start working against you, which is why I'm against.
Work hard, rest harder.
Hey,
yeah, like it's. I try to.
I leave as little rest in between my workouts because you never know when you're gonna have some type of audition where they want you to run it back to back to back to back to back. No break. Hey, listen. All I'm gonna say is I took a program and it was called the Now program, and it pretty much a lot of it was talking about how like you never really want to get yourself ready for something. You always want to be ready for any kind of situation.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that 100%. But also the rest is equally as important as the work, because if you don't let your body recover and also let your subconscious marinate on all the content that you've learned, that your body fully get ready for the next round, then are you truly performing at 100% if you're not fully recovered?
Dang.
So
that's recovery much easier in physical activities.
It's the same thing in terms of like it and just being productive. Like if you want to be productive in creating stuff, rest is a huge component. One of my favorite studies that I learned was from LeBron James. He's 36, still dunking like he's in his 20s.
He's 36.
Yes,
36.
And
he's turning 37.
He sleeps 10 hours a day. I mean, albeit he's a hyper athlete, but also Usain Bolt, he sleeps about 10 hours a day.
20 days.
Like sleep is essential because that's where your subconscious does all the real work.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sleep. So there's only so much our conscious minds can do, which is why I'm adamant of like take a break, let your muscles get ready, because it's better than trying to force the issue and have it stress out and burn out even more.
That is true. Like to piggyback off that is like not only physical recovery is good, but mental recovery is good as well. Because like recently I took a month off from streaming because just had to mentally get my mind back into things to stream again, because you just got to recover. Take time for yourself as well.
Yeah.
So.
Don't stay up and work till 6 a.m.
You never know.
I don't work until 6 a.m.
Recover.
Anymore.
So the answer is
okay. Wait, hold on.
For 10 hours.
Yes. No. Hey, Alex was saying something. What was that?
I was saying that mental recovery is very hard to manage because there is no like such thing as like pure recovery like we have in physical activities. Like in physical activities, like your muscle don't work, that means you're recovering. But in mental, you can always like process something with your brain and never actually recover. Then you think that you're recovering. So like it's way harder to manage, and only sleep is the pure solution to that.
I'm not saying it is, but I'd say it's a huge component of it, especially rest in performing at a high level, because albeit there's like other things to consider. I don't know, the mental and emotional experiences you go out throughout the day, or there's even sometimes people go through traumatic stuff. So sleep isn't exactly the answer, but that's where the whole conversation of self-care comes into the equation. I'd say at the most basic level of being a high level performer is sleep, but then everything else is self-care. That goes with getting, I don't know, whatever you do for your morning routine, meditating, exercising, I don't know, playing video games, whatever else that helps take care of the mind, hanging out with people. So that's like, but that the thing is with with self-care stuff, it's hard to put that to quantify that. We can't be like, oh, person spent 3 hours with B-Rock this week. His mental health went down. So
that's just with hanging out with Emery in general.
Shit, that's called a video game right there.
But it's if anything, the most quantitative thing that has helped is the sleep. But I do agree 100% that there's also many other things that affect us from being able to perform at a mental and emotional level. How the fuck did we get here? But
we talked about. Fuck, how did we get there?
This is a great conversation.
We're talking about breaks.
But yeah, Bernie, I'm interested to hear from you because you're a freaking judo coach who's going to be coaching the next Olympian.
What? Really?
The next Manny Pacquiao.
That's my goal. Oh,
shit.
Goal.
Okay, I thought you were doing that right now.
No, not yet.
I mean,
The kids I'm teaching are way too young to even qualify for Olympics.
And let me go. I'll meet you over there in the Philippines, and then we'll
never say
what's the minimum age for
Never
Olympics?
say never.
What is the minimum age for?
18, no?
16.
Oh, 16.
16.
Or
I think. Is
there
it?
are, yep.
It's not every event, but yeah,
Not
16.
every
So I wouldn't capitalize that I'm 18. Okay.
Like definitely gymnastics, like at least 16. Some of them look
Yes,
12.
at least 16.
Yeah,
I would say the
yeah.
importance of I believe in the importance of recovery because being a coach myself, I would say I could see a lot of burnouts happening, especially with younger athletes, because what happens is you are so primed to be doing the action, like especially pre-games. I could see a lot of because the kids that I coach, whenever we go to competition, I just let them do their form, but not going hard because I want them to use like that full energy on the exact moment when you are up to use it, like max performance on the performance time, but rest it up because I could see a lot of, especially old school way of training, like kill your muscle before the game. I could see a lot of people doing reps, and my kids are just like hanging out there, eating, listening to music, and playing video games. And I'm gonna say, once you're up, just warm them up like before to stretch the muscle. I would say, warming up on breaks. If my advice is, if you'd have to like rest, or if you can't help your body, but work out, like do something that's not the same as what you're doing for your reps. Like, let's say, like you dance, maybe you could do a little stretch, or if you're doing hip hop, maybe you could do a little something that's slow, that focuses more on flexibility and preparation for the muscle, but not the action per se, like what you are up to do per se, because it diminishes performance. I would have to agree, because when I was still competing, I would say most of good wins that I got are from those where I play my phone prior to like stepping on the mats, as compared to those where I was super pumped up.
Yeah.
Maybe because you're hyper focusing, so you tend to lose your play once you get in there. But if you're playing, you're chilled.
Yeah, it's the classic saying of like, you don't want to be too high or too low. It's just like the field. And the thing is, when you mentioned old school way of doing things, of going all out. You just reminded, it took me back to my competition days where we would be dancing the whole fucking day.
Oh,
agree.
Out.
Oh yeah.
How I trained
all the time. So and then
Stress.
it just made it stressful. And then there's the whole thing. It was like, when everyone's doing the same thing, it's time to start questioning, can there be another way? So it's like, but the thing is, because we see exhibition teams, and albeit there's talent is a variable, but there's exhibition teams that fucking do few rehearsals, but they're still beast in it, and and it's comparable to the competitive teams for some of them. So it's like, what I feel like there's a level of relaxation, or I think that, or even keelness, and that exhibition teams have. I mean, there is added mental pressure of competing. I think the approaches can all be the same, but the thing is, especially I think in Western society or in America, where it's all about, push yourself to exhaustion. I think there's a certain point to that. But I also adapted this Russian philosophy in working out from fucking Alex.
Alex
like what I
now?
say?
So what's my philosophy now?
Because
no, of course, yeah.
He's one of the world class. He's ex KGB, and his methodology of
Yes.
So like his
So ripe old age of 20.
like, his methodology is all like was going like of especially when him training Olympic weightlifters. It's like never like on prep go like 80%. Like you never want to burn yourself out because that's again training your nervous system to always burn out. So you want to build the strength up for it, and then on the rough days is where you actually push it. But in between each sets, he'd be like rest 5 minutes, like let your muscles fully recover, because you want to be able to fully perform. So it's like that's where like the idea of rest it really started flourishing even more. Yeah, that's why I'm trying to push rest on rehearsals, because it's like the mental break is great. Like taking especially on stressful days of work, it's like, oh fuck this, I need to go out and maybe not go out, but like do something else, like a video game.
I adapt that like kind of same thing on because like I when I was younger I never competed in anything physical really, but I was very competitive when it came to grades. I was one of those people, so I had to get straight A's or else. So like there was a lot of people that were like kind of like at my level, like with like grades and everything, but we'd all sit there and they'd all study in a group and they're just like panicking literally 30 minutes before a big exam. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here like just like perusing the book casually, and they're like, or I've competed in I was going to compete in a spelling bee, but I got sick the day before. But like apparently people were like practicing for it, and they were just like spell automatopoeia, like they were having their parents train them, and I'm just like, just read a fucking book. Read a fucking book, sound it out, and you're done. Don't compete when you're not competing.
Yes, agree.
Don't compete when you're not
Super
competing.
Yeah,
like when it's game time, it's game time. But like when like leading up to it, just be like,
chill.
Yeah,
chill out.
You brought up something that Diego and I brought up in our recent podcast. Make sure you guys go listen to that. Was that a story with Floyd Mayweather? Like he's not my favorite boxer, but I think Triple H visited him on the day of one of his matches, and he was asked, and Floyd was just watching TV. It was the day of his match, and he was like, "Aren't you going to train? Aren't you going to practice?" And he's like, "I already did all the training.
Yeah.
Like, if I still have to train and prepare,
It's the night before, yeah.
It's like I haven't done my job. If we're panicking, when we're on deck or the day of, then we'd have it fully prepared.
If you don't have it now, you'll never have it.
So I love how we just went in on this topic real quick.
I remember something about rest. I just want to
Go for it.
Well, I feel like this is going to be very valuable for anyone who's listening.
There are some elite athletes who just sleep, who literally just eat, sleep, and train. So
Kobe.
They play. This goes for most like jiu-jitsu, like big ass jiu-jitsu people. So what they do is they like do it all when they train, and then they hydrate, they eat, and they literally just sleep. So that's like their life cycle, and they kill it on the mats. Like they kill it on the mats because the body's like well rested. So they sleep for more than the hours of the day when they're not training or they're not eating, they're sleeping. It makes them perform.
Wow.
Okay, but that goes for people who doesn't have anything else to do, right? I would say.
Yeah, you can't really tell people that like that's the way to go, because somebody that doesn't have like the money or anything can't really do that. Like obviously it works if all you do is work.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
Sleep and just train.
If you live
Eat,
to train.
sleep, cyberpunk.
Oh my god. Eat, sleep, cyberpunk.
All right. So whoever is listening to this, I hope you guys enjoyed the importance of rest and the whole, don't.
Go take a nap now.
Especially
no rest.
Go take.
Do it now.
Keep going.
No rest.
Not now. After the podcast finishes.
I think there's
understand the importance of rest. Yes.
Yeah. I think there's a time and a place for going further beyond.
Mm-hmm.
But
plus ultra. Sorry.
Oh my god.
This is what it means to go even further beyond.
But
you're quoting something.
Yes.
And I know it's dweeby.
It's both.
Oh, there we go.
Markiplier and My Hero Academia. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
So there's certain times for it. Like there are times where I just have the energy and the hype just do a random all-nighter because I'm excited to just work.
Mm-hmm.
So
Agree.
Like last night when Cyberpunk released.
Meanwhile, I'm silently judging Emery for still working, even though he's like, I need to take a break.